The decision-making, we can't. He'll learn from it.
And that is as far as they're going to go. Very nicely done. Closing in on goal. Decent chance! Surely now they are well and truly out of sight. And surely that settles it. And that really is so impressive.
Well, from the moment he got involved, he looked as if he'd go all the way. Terrific.
2 goals on the day, and he may not yet be done. Barcelona find a position of real strength now. Half-time coming up, and little doubt as to which of the two sides is the happier. Zubeldia into the final 5 minutes of the first half. Nice bit of skill, and he's away. That'll be a throw-in. That has ended up in no man's land. But it is clear to see that he is not at all happy with that.
Encouraged the pass with an intelligent run, but the pass just lacked pace.
Excellent challenge there, uncompromising. Oh, that pass isn't the best. A real chance if he can get through. Is there any support? He might not need it. Chance to shoot! Well, now it's a race for the ball. And he should have made it 4.
Spirited, to say the least. Certainly gave this crowd something to really cheer about.
And this could be the final action of the first half. Baranachik. And there is the half-time whistle. Well, the contrast in fortunes here could not be much more stark. All smiles on one side, their qualities have shone through. But look across the other way, and there is nothing short of absolute deflation. Any opinion you'd like to express on the first half?
Barcelona fully merit this lead and are right on course for a real upset. And as yet, no signs of shying away.
Barcelona are very much where they want to be, courtesy of some truly incisive play. Their approach vibrant, utterly irresistible. They hope shortly to resume this onslaught. The score currently... And the finish! That is not... He's gone for goal! And the goalkeeper watches it past.
No, it's a fair attempt. I think he felt he could line one up there. The odds were never really in his favour.
That's good pressing, squeezing the play. Out for a throw. Aramburu, foot in. Oh, it's come loose. He'll try to keep this alive. Oh, that's neat. Zubimendi, defending his corner stubbornly, stood up very well to his man. The pressing's intense, and it's paid off. And he's had it nicked away. Over to the other side. And here's a chance! Always going over the top.
Yeah, but you only need to look across to the sideline to see what one makes of that, Peter.
Well, already game, set and match, or so it feels. Elustondo. Zubimendi. Driving forward. He's got space in the area. Ramiro catches it safely. Well, that tackle was certainly sturdy. He's having a hit! Some front-footed pressing going on here. Oh, strongly challenged there. Looking for the runner. That is a jarring tackle, but apparently nothing wrong with it. Speculative strike. Great football, shot and save.
Well, at least he's not short on confidence. Trying from that sort of distance, why not?
Barcelona have their third corner. Great hit! Oh no, a quite unbelievable miss.
Oh, it's a brilliant effort, you have to say that. He clearly wanted to do it in style.
Zubimendi. Short changes him with that pass. He came in hard, very hard. And he's in on goal! It's good running with the ball. Driving, has a go! And somehow he's managed to miss it.
Oh, no, that was a chance. What a chance.
Zubimendi. And Aramburu. Zubeldia. Now Zubimendi. Oh, just skips past his man.
Variety is the spice of footballing life too. They need to alter their approach and start shifting this ball out wide.
That's good play. Now the finish! It's in! Players ecstatic, fans delirious. This is utopian. Well, it would have been harder to miss.
Yeah, and I think we may have had too many defenders ball watching then because they just lost sight of the real danger.
It's become a case of men against boys. Sergio Gomez just eases him off the ball. Gets his pass away. Oh, he's onto this. And he's being shifted off it. Aramburu. Baranachea. Baranachea. Well, the defence proved infallible then, but that won't be the last they'll see of him. And that's put paid to a promising move. Oh, that's a vigorous challenge. Oh, this looks sharp. Driving on and making good progress. It looked as though that might lead to something quite promising, but it turned out that that was not the case. Pablo Marin! Confirmation that there will be 2 minutes stoppage time. Zubimendi. Olasagasti. He's through here. Well, that looks a foul. Yep, referee's given it. And he is going into that little black book.
Cambio de jugadores.
Referee looks at his watch and blows his whistle. So a real showpiece win. This stop was simply far too clever for